In this video, we will be getting into all things Earn because the Earn protocol is now live on the V4 testnet, and I am joined by no other than the one man himself, the one and only Just Ask Jesse in the house.
What's going on, everyone? We're going to learn a lot of really cool things today. Earn protocol got off to a flying start, just like it didn't even take off. It was like already in the air when it launched. And it's doing great. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to cover some really important information about how to use the protocol effectively.
So yeah, the protocol's been live for how long now? Less than 48 hours?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit less than 48 hours. Yep.
And so far, how has it been going?
So within this 48 hours, we have over 1 billion stablecoins minted on PulseChain Testnet V4. The collateral health is really good. It started out pretty high, right? I think it started out around 400 to 500% collateral health as people started to get their feet wet in the protocol, and it's hovering probably around 280% or something right now. We'll look at that. So that's really healthy. There's maybe almost 400 vaults open. The volume of activity on there is quite high. We'll look at that too. I'd like to see some more participation, actually. This is testnet. You want to practice stuff on testnet before it gets to mainnet, right? So yeah. We'll take a look at some of those stats here in 1 second.
Definitely. I just dropped a video for anyone who wants to know how to open a vault. I just dropped a real simple video. I think it's less than 3 minutes. Like Jesse said, we're in the on the brink of PulseChain, right? And if you were practicing for a sports game or a speech or whatever, you do some practice beforehand. So I would advise you, if you're thinking about opening a vault at some point, definitely go and do it on the testnet. Just get yourself ready for the mainnet. So let's bring up some stats, Jesse, and chat about these.
Yeah, so the borrowing fee, that's going to fluctuate based on the health of the system, okay? It's going to go from, it could be 0 actually at times, but usually between 0.5% and 5%. So right now that tells us everything's pretty stable right now, where it's at the lower threshold, 0.85%.
Nice.
Total value locked. That's how much PulseX value is inside of the protocol as collateral. All right, so you see we have 63.3 billion PulseX backing 395 vaults who have minted 1 billion, just over 1 billion stablecoins.
1 billion.
All right. That's only like 395 vaults that made a billion stablecoins. All right, there's plenty more people that should get in there and participate. Give it a try. There is really good yield to be made in there. Actually, we'll talk about some strategies, some opportunities. This protocol pays to keep the stablecoin stable. When it dips, when it goes up, there's all sorts of ways to bring it right back to peg. Remember, this is a trustless, immutable, community-driven thing. There's no the word algorithmic is actually a little incorrect, right? It's not algorithmic, because if the thing dips, you buy it. If it goes up, you sell it, right? And we'll talk about how to do that. Anyway, out of all those stablecoins that are minted, 37.9% of them are sitting in the stability pool, ready to, well, they're earning earn tokens. It's the only place on testnet to get those earn tokens. They're emitting out to all those people in the stability pool. The other 63%, some of those are liquid in people's wallets. Some people have they're just holding on to them or whatever. They're trying to buy things with them, like Hex and whatever else on the testnet. But there is a huge supply, like a lot that are sitting in liquidity pools right now. I think it looks like the main pairing is PulseX paired to PXDC. The community looks like it's dabbled in pairing it back to TDI. TDI is a little weird because it's got like a fixed price no matter what. So, like, it's actually a really weird pair on testnet to be paired to, because it doesn't ratio around like it's supposed to. But I think people may find it paired to some PulseX and or Pulse rather, in a smaller pool. Earn tokens. Those things are constantly being emitted to the stability depositors. And it looks like most of them are being staked. And those people are earning PulseX dollar coin. They're earning PulseX whenever there's mints and redemptions.
Can I interrupt quickly? With the stability pool, you forgot to mention that, well, we just didn't mention yet, they're also picking up some PLSX when there's liquidations, right?
Yeah, when there's liquidations, the people in the stability pool, some of those stable coins in there will burn, and they'll pick up PulseX at a discount. And then you can go and you can sell those back. You know, you can add them to your collateral. You could do it. You're literally up 10% at the time that you pick up a liquidation in the stability pool. That's a really neat mechanic. Anyway, it's doing really good for the first 2 days, not even 2 days.
And then we've got, sorry, you were talking about the earn staking pool, which has is where people are putting their earn tokens to get obviously the fees. Is that right?
Yeah. So when you stake your earn token, you will collect PulseX dollar coin whenever somebody mints or creates a loan. You're collecting the fee from that. Now, let's talk about something really important. You've got a couple options to get your hands on earn token. You could go buy it, but it looks like not very many people are trying to sell it. The liquidity pool is pretty darn thin. You're going to pay a lot of money to get that earn token. Okay. It's extremely volatile right now. At one point on testnet, it went up to like $50,000 per token because nobody's selling them. They're emitted out for free to the stability depositors. Okay. Now, it could be wise to get those things for free and then go add them back into the liquidity pool on PulseX, because when you go to PulseX and look, actually the APY, it's ridiculous. It's like I don't know, hundreds or thousands of percent APY for being a liquidity provider. Just from the mechanics built into PulseX itself, right? It's actually paying out pretty good to be an LP person. Now, the alternative is get those earn tokens and just simply stake them, and you earn the fees. But you're welcome to go buy earn token. The price is ridiculously high right now. Nobody's wanting to sell it. Nearly all of it's off the market, and you literally get more from getting your hands on some PulseX dollar coin, preferably through minting them, and then putting them into the stability pool, because you'll get earn tokens for free when you do that.
Yeah, those earn tokens, I mean, you want to stake those and then get the fees. And like you said, you could be an LP as well on a PulseX. So multiple ways to get yield, which is obviously why we're here in True DeFi. Chris is asking, how do I pay back the PXDC?
Yeah, so to pay back the PXDC, remember, you had a borrowing fee when you first borrowed. So you can pay back nearly all the PXDC. And if you're participating in the ecosystem, you might have been earning PXDC, that like the 0.5% borrowing fee or whatever your borrowing fee at the time. Maybe you have all those available to you and you could just pay it off completely if you wanted to. You can pay down your loan. You can pay it off completely. The choice is completely yours. You can buy the stablecoin off of PulseX. There's a lot of them available. The liquidity pool has it's like 100, I don't know, $120 million worth of PulseX backing all those paired to all those stable coins. So that is an option. I'd like to see that liquidity pool grow and grow and grow. On mainnet, it will be incentivized, by the way.
Yeah.
For you to be an LP, you go be an LP, earn tokens are going to mint out to you as well.
A few people are talking about on the first day, they got some disparity between what they put down as collateral and then what appeared the next day. Can we explain that?
Yeah, so that's completely normal. That's completely normal. And early on in the first days, you've got a stability pool that absorbs liquidations all the time, right? If anybody's liquidated, that PulseX gets spread to all the stability depositors. Their stablecoins burn as if it's paying back the loan. All right, they're all up and they all have like a 10% gain in value because the liquidation point was 110. Stability pool picked it up basically at a 10% discount. They picked up PulseX. Now, what happens if a whale mints a boatload of stablecoins and the stability pool, because it's super early, day one or whatever, the stability pool is not big enough to cover if that whale decides to get liquidated? If that whale is at 110% and that gets liquidated, what happens to all the debt? Okay, the system has to remain solvent. It has to clear that debt somehow, or it has to redistribute the debt. And that's exactly what happened. I think what you saw happen was a whale minted a boatload of stable coins, took them over to PulseX, made big giant liquidity pools so that people could actually trade in and out of these things. And the collateral health on that guy was pretty low. It liquidated. All that PulseX got redistributed proportionally to the existing vaults, as did the debt. So the debt got redistributed and added to all those vaults. The PulseX got redistributed and added to all those vaults. Interesting thing is it doesn't actually harm all those users. Okay, it just simply spreads that value across to all those people. Those people early on in the first half of day one, they saw that they picked up more PulseX, and their debt position also increased a bit. Okay, but they actually gained 10% as well. They gained 10%. It's not that much different than the stability pool, except now they're showing that they have a debt. Now, they don't necessarily have to pay that back. They could withdraw all those PXTC. They could put themselves at 110 and get themselves liquidated and walk away with more value than they started with from the very beginning. I'm not saying that everybody needs to do that. What I'm saying is none of those people need to freak out. It's completely normal what happened. If the stability pool is too small, the debt and the collateral spreads to the existing vaults. The system stays solvent. All those people come out 10% ahead.
Gotcha. And talking about the stability pool, Max Payne asks, what determines the discount of PLSX trading in the stability pool?
So it's always going to be 10% discount. Okay. So check it out. You put in somebody puts in some collateral into a vault, and the liquidation point is at 110% of how the stable coins they minted. So let's say they mint 1,000 stable coins. If the value of their PulseX is down, and once it gets down to like $1,100 worth of PulseX, $1,100 worth of PulseX gets spread to the stability depositors when that liquidates, but only 1,000 stable coins accumulate, across all the different, all the participants in the stability pool. 1,000 stable coins burns. 1,000 stable coins burn, but they pick up $1,100 for the PulseX. That's why it's always a 10% discount, because people get liquidated. No, not before 110%. If that's just how it works.
Gotcha. can the same wallet open multiple vaults?
No, you have to use a different wallet.
Yeah. And yes, we've got that. So let's have a look at some other questions, or if not, then we'll have a look at the actual protocol itself and we can talk through it. Yeah, let's do that. So if I can just let me just share this screen, and then we can have a look at the protocol itself, because it's a really clean interface. It's nice and easy to use. So like Jesse said, if you haven't opened a vault yet, I would advise you to definitely go and do that. So if we look here, can you see that?
Yeah.
Great. So now we're looking. So what are we looking at here, Jesse?
All right. So it looks like there's an open vault here. There's 112,000, just over 100, almost 113,000 PulseX as collateral. And this person minted 1,750 PXDC. That places them at a collateral health of 303%. Now, those PulseX have a value, right? And the value of that many PulseX is what's determining at this moment, like what that collateral health is. So if the value of that PulseX, 100, almost 113,000 PulseX were to 2x, well, guess what? The collateral health would also 2x. It would go up to like 600%. Now, you can adjust, right? So if you were to click adjust, you can reduce your debt. So if you see the net debt, if you were to put that at, say, 1,600, basically it's going to prompt you to deposit, if you have it in your wallet, it's going to prompt you to deposit 100 stable coins, because that's what you're trying to reduce your debt to by 100. So you're paying back. Click cancel. You can also adjust your collateral, right? So you can reduce that. That will withdraw PulseX from your vault, and it'll just show it back liquid in your wallet. Your collateral health will go down when you do that, and it shows you what it'll go down to, right? Because you're removing collateral.
Yep.
You can also raise your collateral health. So if you clear it out, hit the refresh button at the top right. There you go. All right. So that's what you're at now. If you raise that number, it's going to prompt you to deposit, the difference of what you're trying to raise it to. That will make your collateral health go up, right? So you can add collateral. You can take collateral away. You can add stable coins, which is like paying back and they just burn themselves, or you can mint more stable coins. Your collateral health is 305. Let's say you're comfortable going to like in the 200 range. Net debt, make your net debt 1,800. See what happens. Okay, there you go. You're in the 200 range, 288, and it's going to mint you 99.66 PulseX dollar coin. It even tells you the fee, the borrowing fee to do that is less than $1. That 94 cents worth of PXDC is going to get spread across those stakers of the earn token right now. So when you click confirm, you're minting those stable coins.
Yep.
And they're fully backed and by the collateral that you have in, right? So you can adjust your debt, minting stable coins, paying back stable coins. You can adjust your collateral, bringing PulseX in or removing PulseX. All right.
Let's talk about this liquidation reserve, 50 PXDC.
Sure. So that is there. It just sits there. Nothing happens with it unless you're liquidated, right? So if your collateral health is down by 110, and you were to be liquidated, that $50 gets paid to the person who hit the liquidate button.
So sorry, say that again.
The person who hits the liquidate button on you, if your collateral health was to ever be down by 110 or under 110, the person who hits the button to liquidate you gets that $50.
Exactly. So that's a manual function, right?
Manual function. And if you're never liquidated, it just sits there. If you pay back your loan, guess what? You get that back. Or actually it's used to, you know, to pay back the last $50 of your loan if you're closing it out.
Here's a question that's been popping up since the beginning of time about these protocols. So quick question, how can we protect ourselves from being liquidated from quick wicks?
Well, the system kind of does that. Quick wicks have no effect in this protocol. This thing has a time-weighted average at the moment on PulseX. You'll see the same thing on mainnet, where like for somebody to wick the price down, they will have to hold it down for like 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Dumping their own bags to try and liquidate who? Who are they going to liquidate? How many people are in the range of what they're...
Yo, Jesse, you there? It seems like Jesse has having some tech difficulties. So we'll wait for him to come back. Jesse? Okay, we'll wait for Jesse to come back. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the dashboard of the OWN protocol. This is where you can open a vault. Very simple. There's a video that I just dropped that is on the PowerCity YouTube channel, this channel. So you can see that video. Very easy. Add your collateral here. Put how much PXDC you want to mint, and you will see a collateral ratio. The minimum is 110%, but of course, higher is always going to be safer. So 250, 500, 750, 1,000. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. A high collateral ratio is always going to be safer in case the market turns against you. Jesse, you back?
Yeah. Something happened there, a glitch. Okay, so for somebody to wick you can't wick the price inside of this protocol. Okay, it uses time-weighted averages. A whale guy would have to hold down the price for 30 minutes before, there's an average in both directions. So he can't. He's going to lose all his money. And why? Because what does he gain by doing that? Is he going to hold it down for 30 minutes, constantly dumping his bags over and over and over, continuously dumping out of all his PulseX, trying to dump the price of PulseX, giving away all his life's wealth to push the price down, to liquidate like one guy by 100 down by 110%, or some people maybe around the 130, 140% range, and he doesn't even get that liquidation. Is he going to be the fastest guy to hit the button? And what does he get if he hits the button? He gets $50. He gets 50 PXDC liquidation reserve from each of those. Well, that's retarded, right? Sorry for my language, but that's retarded. Okay, because that liquidation gets spread across the stability pool. He doesn't even get it all. He gets 5% of it, but he doesn't get the rest. And he only gets that 5% if he hits the button. And there's bots hitting the button. And there's other people staring at the button trying to hit it and stuff. So he just gave away all his money for free just by dumping the price down. That's why time-weighted averages are extremely important. Because then people who try to screw over a DeFi protocol really just wreck themselves, and then they're poor plebs and they can go live on the street.
You heard it here first. Don't worry about whales wicking the price down for $50. I think they're good. Below that, we can see the stability pool. And we talked about that, but it's very easy, isn't it? How to deposit your PXDC in here. Click here. Put in how much you want to deposit. So let's say we want to put in 1,000. And then we can see our pool share below here in percent. And then we click confirm and pay a gas fee. And Bob's your uncle. So what do you think the stability pools, obviously the stability pool is looking very healthy at the moment. Do you think that's going to be similar on the mainnet, or more or less?
It's really all based on the value of PulseX, right? So let's say PulseX has like a market cap of $1 trillion. Okay. You could have essentially mathematically, all those people could drop it in here as collateral and mint, lots and lots, hundreds of billions of stablecoins, right? But if the total market cap of all those PulseX is only like 10 million, okay, the max that could ever be brought into here and put up as collateral would be $10 million worth of PulseX. So you'd only see, 5, maybe 3, 2, 1 million stablecoins ever minted. So it's literally dependent on the value of the collateral itself. We expect that PulseX will do very well. So as it does well and it finds its floor and maybe it goes up or down or whatever, you'll actually see stablecoins being minted as the value of PulseX over the months and years goes up, and you'll see stablecoins, being paid back and burned as the total valuation of PulseX goes down.
Sure.
It's going to move with the valuation of PulseX. That's how that works. I hope that was clear enough. What kind of how that whole system works when you use an asset as collateral to mint a stablecoin. It kind of moves it mints and burns and mints and burns based on the value of that thing typically.
So obviously it's all pinned to the collateral price, and obviously depending on what the market's doing, then that will change the lay of the land. So as we talked about, if you're a stability provider, not only do you pick up some PulseX at a discount, but also you earn the earn token. And what can you do with that earn token, Jesse? You can come down here, right?
Yeah, you can take those earn tokens, you can put them in the staking pool. This is where
hello, Jesse's frozen again. So I will carry on his stream of thought, which was, this is where you can take your earn tokens, deposit them into the staking pool, and then this is where you're going to basically become a fee collector, because all the fees in the system get paid to the earn stakers. So when you open a vault or you close a vault, there's going to be a fee to be paid. So you'll be picking up some PLSX and also some PXDC, depending on people opening and closing vaults. When you open a vault, you'll pay a little bit of that fee in PXDC, and when you close that vault, you'll pay a little fee in PLSX. And the stakers, the earn stakers, who have been getting their earn tokens in yield from the stability pool, can then come and stick it in the staking pool and basically become part of the protocol and be collecting fees all day long. So that's going to be probably quite an interesting token to have, right? If you've got a token there, you can stick somewhere 24/7. Or Jesse's back. Hello, Jesse.
Yep.
It's going to be an interesting token to have. But carry on. I've been riffing on the earn token. I want to hear your take on it.
Yeah, stake the earn tokens. Whenever somebody takes a loan out, they're paying a little percent. They're paying 0.5% or maybe more of the PXDC that they're minting is getting paid to you as a staker. Now, I did see somebody, LP Ripper, asked, where does the redemptions come from? How do I get PulseX when I'm staking? That's whenever somebody is doing a redemption. A redemption is at any time you can take your stable coins. Oh, and it's in the settings, by the way. If you go up at the top, not even in the settings, at the top of the page here, you'll see redemptions, right? So if you're holding PXDC in your wallet, you can redeem those, and it'll give you $1 worth of PulseX for each one of those. Put in an arbitrary number right there, like 100 or whatever. Okay, 150. Okay, so if you bring in 150, it's going to give you I can't read that for you, 3,158 PulseX.
It's going to give you 30.1992 PulseX.
Nope, that's the fee. That's the fee that you're going to pay. It's not going to give you...
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, it's going to give you 3,158, yeah.
Yep. And the fee you pay is going to be 30 PulseX. Yeah. And those...
less than 1%.
Right. When you click redeem, what's actually happening is those 150 stablecoins go back to risky. Click on risky vaults. I'll show you what happens when somebody clicks redeem. Now, these are vaults all in order by their collateral health. The total collateral health of the system is 283, but there's some degen people in here, it looks like. Okay. So the lowest collateral vault is 114%.
Then 115, 116.
Wow, he's got a big debt.
All right. That 86 millis?
Yeah. So here's what's going to happen, though. When you click redeem, it's going to use the stablecoins you're redeeming with, and it's going to pay back 150 stablecoins to that guy's debt. His debt will go down by 150. Those stablecoins burn themselves out of existence. It's also going to reach into his collateral, and it's going to remove from his collateral the what does it say, 3,000 or something? It's going to remove that quantity of PulseX that you were going to get from that redemption. It's going to shave off 30 of them, and it's going to pay them to the stakers, the Vern tokens. It's going to give you the rest of them. So it's kind of a way to exchange the stablecoin. Yeah, that's exactly. I don't know how else to describe it. Now, there is a reason why redemptions are extremely important. The stablecoin will move around in price. As the liquidity pool thickens, it'll move around less and less and less and less over time. And it's a little wonky on testnet because TDI is really weird, and it makes things happen really weird with the TDI that's out there. And when you see the stablecoin dip in price, let's say it's 80 cents, okay, buy it. That's when you buy the stablecoin instead of minting it. You go to PulseX, you buy the stablecoin, you bring it right back here, and you redeem it. It'll burn those stablecoins out of existence. It'll give you $1 worth of PulseX for every single one of those. All right. So you're getting stablecoins basically out of the system to redeem against the lowest collateralized vault. You make profit. Let's say the stablecoin went down to 10 cents. Okay. If you bought those on the open market at 10 cents and you bought, 10,000 of them. Okay. And you came back and you clicked the redeem button, you would get $1 for every single one of those, $1 worth of PulseX. You did a couple things. One, you made a lot of money. Two, you raised the collateral health of the lowest collateralized vault. And three, you repegged the value of the stablecoin back to $1. So you made money, you raised the collateral health of the system, you repegged the value of the stablecoin right back to $1 where it's supposed to be.
Yep. A question from Varan we need to answer because this comes up a lot. People are worried about if PulseX goes up in price, would they have to pay back? So, for example, if PulseX 10x, would they have to pay back 10x PXDC? And this is not true. Basically, they'd just be higher collateralized.
To get back our collateral PulseX, we only pay back the PXDC we minted plus any fee, correct? Meaning if PulseX 10x while collateral, yes, your debt never changes. Just because your collateral goes up in value, that has nothing to do with your debt. Nothing to do. So if you had $1,000 worth of PulseX as collateral and you minted 500 stablecoins, and then that collateral went up to, and it was worth like $50 million worth of PulseX, and you still only had a debt of $500. You still only have a debt of $500. And at any point along the way, you could have minted more stablecoins. You could have paid back that, your debt. You could have withdrawn all that excess value of PulseX. You could have added collateral, but if it went up that high in value, you're probably sitting at like millions of percent collateral health.
You could just keep pulling out more PXDC
you can just keep pulling out stablecoins constantly behind that.
Yeah. So just the bottom line is, if your collateral 10x's, 100x's, 1000x's, your loan doesn't. It stays the same.
Of course. It's like if you borrow from like, what's the real world example, right? Let's say you borrow $500 from a bank or something,
Let's say you borrow $100,000 to buy an apartment and the price of the apartment goes up 2x. You don't owe $200,000.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
still owe the
exactly.
$100,000.
Exactly. Same thing with a car, right? You take a loan out for a car, if it's like a classic car, Eleanor or something, and it now it's worth $1 million and you only paid $50K for it. Okay. Or took a loan out $50K. You only owe $50K even though the thing's worth $1 million.
Exactly. A lot of people are asking how long after PulseChain goes live will Earn be live?
We always say probably right around a month.
Obviously, we want the system to kind of find its groove and obviously price stability before people start taking loans, just in case. So around a month. But let's get PulseChain first before we worry about anything on top of that. So bars attacks, this is confusing. I mean, it sounds it at first, but if you go to hit this link and read it, it's very simple. And basically all you're doing is you're using PulseX as collateral to lock up and then get stablecoin. And the more collateral you put in, the more PulseX you put in, the more stablecoin you can get, PXDC, but also the higher the collateral ratio. Therefore, if the market moves against you, then you're safely protected. So watch the stream again and definitely go to that link, docs.powercity.io/earn protocol, and then you can read through all of that at your own leisure. So a lot of people are using it. So we can also see these stats in the top right-hand corner, Jesse, and people can come in here all the time and check the stats in real time, right?
Yeah, they can check the stats in real time. Let's see, the total collateral ratio is 288%. There's a huge guy. Look at this huge guy down here. 88 million debt.
86 million. This one, yeah.
86 million. He's at 116%.
15%.
So this is a good example. How much is in the stability pool? 413 million?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if he was liquidated, 86 million stablecoins would get burned out of the stability pool. But the stability depositors would pick up whatever nearly 2 billion PulseX. Okay. And those PulseX would be more valuable than what they just burned at that moment in time, at least. All right. So the stability pool would shrink. That guy's debt would disappear. He was liquidated. He lost his PulseX. He still has his stablecoins. He's off wherever he is. Maybe he's also a stability pool participant. Who knows? Right. But he's already got that value. So if the value of his collateral falls to the value he minted, nearly down to 110, he will be liquidated. And that liquidation is handled by the stability pool, who burn their stable coins and pick up his PulseX.
So again, to sum it up, you don't have to worry about even a big guy like this getting liquidated because the system is set up to stay solvent. So as you can see, everything's in here, guys. I mean, how you get good at anything is playing around with it. So like we said, the dashboard's here, vault, stability pool, staking. You can go to the redemption tab and redeem. You can check risky vaults and see if any are up for liquidation. At the moment, there's none up for liquidation. The lowest is 116%, but if anything dips below 110%, you can come in here and call that function. And then we've got the stats here. So at the moment, we've got 404 vaults opened.
Yeah. Oh, what's 5% of 2 billion? We'll say 2 billion, right? So
math was never my strong point.
Yeah, 2 billion. So that's 100 million. So if that guy was to get liquidated, the person who hits the liquidate button would instantly pick up $50 plus 100 million PulseX.
Make
The
it
rest
rain.
of his PulseX would get spread across the stability depositors.
Yeah, make it rain. So you just answered that question.
No, hold on. No, let me answer this. That kind of liquidation event would not add to everyone's debt, because you can see that the stability pool has 417 million stablecoins in it. This liquidation is only 86 million. So there's still stablecoins in the stability pool. The only time that the debt gets spread across to the other borrowers is if there is no stability pool. If this guy was like $500 million in debt and decided to liquidate, okay, 417 million of those stablecoins in the stability pool would burn themselves. They would pick up, I don't know, 417 plus 10%, $1,000 or $1 million worth of PulseX. Okay, so we would leave all the stability providers with PulseX instead of their stablecoins anymore. And then the remaining debt would get spread across the existing vaults. So would the PulseX, right? So the existing vaults would pick up the PulseX and the debt.
Gotcha. Okay. Ron asks, where's the liquidate button? So if you see here on the right, but you can't do it because the collateral ratio is not low enough. But if there's a little bin icon here, then you can, if someone is below 110%, then someone can come in here and press that button. So that's pretty much it. So
there is a question here though.
Oh, where is it?
So the only benefit to not setting a good collateral ratio is to try and squeeze more percentage. The stablecoin can go over $1. It has an upper price floor of $1.10. Why? Because it becomes, let's say this, people are buying and buying and buying the stablecoin like they did when we first launched. People started buying it, and the price of the stablecoin kept going up to like $1.70, and people would dump it down, and people kept buying it and kept going back up to $1.70. So what you saw happen, and more people need to understand this, people would mint stablecoins, take them, and then go sell them. They would go dump them. Mint stablecoins, take them, go sell them. It literally becomes more profitable as long as if the stablecoin is over $1.10. You could make a vault purposely at 110% collateral health, knowing that it's going to get liquidated, because you're going to take those stablecoins that you just paid essentially 110% value, overvaluation on them, and you're going to go dump them for $1.70 or $1.50 or $1.60 or whatever, right? And you're immediately in profit by 10, 20, 30, 40%. So there are times, if the community is like being weird and driving the price of the stablecoin way up, you may choose to under collateralize yourself because you don't care about that. You just want more of those stablecoins so you can go dump them and get more value out of them. And what that does is it repegs the value back to $1, stabilizes the system, and that's perfectly normal. The rule is quite simple. You sell when it's expensive. You buy when it's cheap. You can buy and you can redeem, or you can mint them and go sell them. Right? That mechanism there is what keeps it at $1. And people need to learn that. Don't pay more than $1 for a stable coin. Mint it.
Jorge asks, what is the meaning in the liquidation window up to 90? What is 90?
You can type in there, liquidate up to 100. All right. So you can change that number, okay? Let's say there was 2 vaults eligible for liquidation. Okay, cool. You are allowed to liquidate up to 100 if there were 100 available, right? That would be super rare, but you can liquidate up to 100. The reason why you can adjust that number is because the gas price for you to liquidate actually goes up the more you're liquidating. Like if you're liquidating 1 volt, it might cost, however much pulse. You're liquidating 2, it might cost twice as much pulse because you pay the gas fee for all this, right? Now you also get that gas reserve. You get $50 for each vault that you liquidate, plus 5% of all the liquidated pulse X. The rest gets spread to the stability depositors. So does the gas even matter? Keep it at 90. I don't think you'll see 90 volts eligible for liquidation at the same time, or put it up to 1,000. The choice is yours.
Cool. So we're knocking on the door of 50 minutes. I think we just wanted to jump on and give the people a little teaser and taster and get everyone familiar with what the dashboard looks like, what the Earn protocol looks like, and definitely go and open a vault. Anything that you want to talk about before we close out, Jesse?
Yeah, go play. It is testnet. It's free. It's not real value, but you need to understand how it works. This is going to be one of the, premier stable coins on the chain. You'll find it paired to all your favorite things. You'll find it paired to other stable coins, other popular things such as USDL or Coast Stable Dollar, or maybe some DAI that's bridged in. You're going to find it all over the place. And people are going to be minting it, right? So you need to learn how that works. There is money to be made in the system. There's rewards paid out to the stability depositors. There's rewards paid out to the stakers. There's arbitrage opportunities all the time. It's very profitable to keep this thing at $1. You buy it when it's cheap because you can redeem it for $1. You sell it when it's expensive. And how do you do that? Well, you acquire it, mint it or whatever, and go sell it. There's profits to be made all over the place by keeping this thing at $1. It's a really cool system, but you have to go play with it. Read the documentation, watch this video, click around, get your feet wet. It doesn't cost that much to get involved. First off, it's testnet, but the minimum mint is only 500. Mint yourself 500, poke around, place some here in the stability pool, get some earn tokens, put them in the staking pool, and get your feet wet and play with this thing.
Awesome, Jesse. Thanks a lot for your time, and I'm sure you'll be joining me again for a stream soon.
Yep. Thanks.
Cool, guys. Well, you heard it first here. Earn is live on the PulseChain V4 testnet, and the only thing you need to do after watching this video is going to earn.powercity.io and having a play around with the Earn protocol. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.